I want to welcome you to Focus on Liberia. Our guests today are people from different walks of life, different background. We have from New Cruton, from the borough of New Cruton, Mr. Alexander Chompin Swen. Alex, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
It's a pleasure, Mr. Chad. And let me say good evening to the peace-loving people of Liberia. Good afternoon to the people in North America. And good night, Asia, if you are watching also.
Yeah, I think they are watching. Then Mr. Thomas Wreh is also joining us from Texas. He has just returned. He's just come from Liberia after working for so long. And he's right here in Dallas, Texas. Mr. Wreh, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Thank you, Dennis. I feel so proud being on your program. I have followed it several times. And I made several calls on it. I succeeded and I didn't succeed in some of them. But I feel so proud to be on your program to highlight some of what we know and some of what we don't know in our country. I say good evening to all the people who are on the other side. Good afternoon to the rest of us here. And for our family members and brothers and sisters in Asia, good night. But we hope you keep watching us.
Later on, we're going to be joined by our Monrovia Bureau Chief, Mr. Randolph Glee. He was at the University of Liberia and other universities lecturing, but now he's back in the States and he's going to be joining us to give us a true picture of what is obtaining in our motherland. And I want to say a special welcome to my co-host. She's been on a short break, Mrs. Danielle Knuckles-guishard. Danielle, welcome back to Focus on Liberia. We miss you so much and we're glad that you're here.
Thank you, Dennis. I appreciate the welcome. This is my busy season, so I'm working a lot right now, but I'm looking forward to returning and being here more regularly. So thank you. I've missed you guys while I've been away. But thank you for having me.
I got tired asking. So at this time, I just want to turn it over to you to do what you do best. Danielle.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Dennis, and welcome to our guests, our viewers. Thank you for joining us as always. We're here every Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Please go out there and like our page. Please also subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're always watching and you want to support us in some way, just hit the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything. We really appreciate that. And to begin tonight's show, as Dennis said, the show tonight is entitled Propaganda, Facts, or Fiction. A lot of times we're not sure if what we're hearing is true, or if any one side is twisting or bending the facts to present the picture in, I guess, in an unfavorable light. So as Dennis said, tonight we have people who have been on ground, so to speak, who can give us their honest opinions of what life is like, and give us their honest opinions about the different events that we've seen transpire over the last couple of years. So to begin, a little bit about our guests. We have Mr. Alexander Swen. To be exact, his name is Alexander Patodream Chompin Swen, born September 23rd, 1992. He is a senior student reading economics and public administration at the African Methodist Episcopal Zion University at 166 Benson Street in Monrovia. He began primary education at Better Foundation School, not in existence right now. Later moved on to George Call Memorial High School, now Greater Vision Christian School, and completed his secondary education at the St. Mary Catholic School in 2011. In 2015, he completed a diploma studies in computer science from the International Institute of Computer Studies and Manpower Development. He is single with a daughter named Alexphine Mickey Bailey Swen, 3 years of age, and in the nursery class. He's from a family of 16. He is the 15th person They are 8 boys and 8 girls. His late father was named Mr. Joseph Chia Swen, and his mother is Mrs. Better Bailey Swen. He joined the Liberty Party in 2016 as a data clerk entry manager for membership recruitment. In 2019, he formed part of the technical team of the 4 collaborating political parties in the senatorial and representatives by elections. So, Mr. Swen, welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invite. It's a pleasure being on the show. I've been following, and thank you to Six Mystery Circle for the invite. It's a pleasure being here, and thank you to all my viewers who are watching now from Liberia, America, Asia. I'd like to say we are here to give our views on the happening within our country. We'll be very objective to the point, and there is no sympathy in saying any of these things that people hear about our country. We are free to say anything at any time.
Okay. Thank you. And up next, we have Mr. Thomas Wreh. His area of expertise is economic policy management. He is currently employed as an insurance professional and health and human services data collector by the state of Texas. He earned his Master of Arts degree in economic policy management from the University of Ghana. He is married to Mrs. Florence Fatumata Wreh and with 4 children and a granddaughter. His parents are Blama Wreh of blessed memory and Madam Masno Wreh. And some of his other experience is that he was an economist with the West African Monetary Institute from 2016 to 2018. He was an economist or head of real sector unit at the Central Bank of Liberia from 2013 to 2019. He was an analyst, Treasury Operations Unit at the Central Bank of Liberia 2010 to 2016. And he was an adjunct lecturer at the University of Liberia, MBA, MPA graduate program. He also co-authored Vulnerability of WAM's Member Countries, External Shocks and Implications for the Convergence Process. He's also the author of Electricity Consumption and Economic Growth in the WAM's member states, which is undergoing review. So, Mr. Wreh, welcome and thanks for being here.
Thank you so much, Danielle. We have an obligation to our country and its people, and that we should never compromise. One thing that has happened to us is that when we lost interest in society, we revert to our tribes. We revert to tribal considerations. We hold on to our tribes. They are not helping us, and they will never help us. We need to go to the greater society where all of us belong. I want to thank all those who are listening. All of us have an opportunity to share our ideas. We may agree or disagree, but the point of consideration is the Republic of Liberia. Don't compromise what is good for our country, because maybe for travel reasons, or you got a bag of rice or some cash. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, so to get started tonight, I just want to start with personal questions. Since you can really give your best opinion about yourself. So I want to start with you, Mr. Swen. Since the inauguration of President George Weah to now, has your ability to feed you and your family changed? Has there been a change at all for you in that aspect?
Well, I can say somehow it's a change in my family, because I have a family that has been affiliating with the CDC since 2005, and one of my siblings is now at Commerce Ministry. But holistically speaking, the country is not moving the way everyone expected it to be going. If you look at the environment, you look at the economic situation, you have many people going to bed hungry, including me sometimes, and you have almost 2 million people in Monrovia that contribute to like 50% of the population. And when these people are going hungry, then what more about the people that are in the rural area? So the country has been in a static position that everything is not moving in the way we expected it to be. And the government came on a matter to change the situation then. But now we are seeing the situation is even regressing instead of it progressing. So from my view, I can tell you that the country is not moving. That's my actual view. And because the country is not moving, you found a lot of things, unwanted things happening. When you go in the street at night, people rob you. Even during the evening time, while people coming from work, people got to rob them to take things from them, just to make survival. So you find out that the country is in a total disarray. A total disarray. This is a frank opinion. Even though we from the opposition, we have our own problem, but as a leader, when you are leading a country, you got to recognize the problem that the people are facing, and things that that we used to buy for like $5 are now going to $20, $25, and many people are not employed. All of the concession companies that I run are doing some layoff workers and all. So you find that people are leaving jobs and companies are moving back. The few out here are moving back and people are losing job. Like my sister that moved to Commerce, she was working with Coca-Cola for almost 5 years. They got to put their staff was down because the production, the income, everything went slow. So you found out that the country is in a stagnated position and nothing is going on right. And this leadership have to develop to gain the confidence of the people again after that 2017 victory. So that's my honest opinion about the country. It's not going anywhere in a position that it never used to be before.
Okay. And just a follow-up question for you. As I read earlier, you're currently a student at AMEU.
Yeah.
Have you seen a change in the classroom in terms of the number of students that are there with you or the number of students on campus, especially with it being a private university?
Yeah, that was one of the issues that even delay our opening now. The enrollment process, even not in the university, but in the various secondary and primary schools. I had a time to go and scout some children within my community to get them back in school. And if you go to the institution, they will tell you that we have almost like 200 students registering before the time, but up to now we can only get 25. Students are dropping out of school, and when this situation continue, you'll find out that the classroom will be very, very empty, starting from the primary up to the tertiary.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you. Mr. Wreh, you were in Liberia and you've moved to the United States. I think you've been here about 10 months, if I'm right. What prompted your move? Was it the current economic situation in Liberia? Did that have any role to play?
A variety of factors informed my departure from Liberia. I had a job with the West African Monetary Institute as an economist. I was recalled home. But when I got home, the information I heard or I kept hearing about my recall didn't please me, to the point where somebody said I was inefficient. So I had to call the West African Monetary Institute to ask them, is this the report you sent to Liberia? Wami said, no, it can't be us. Then the second thing I heard was I was carrying bank information outside of the central bank. So nobody at the central bank should share information with me. I had to buy my ticket immediately when I heard that former Governor Petrie said I wanted his job. I had to leave. Those were the key factors that informed my departure from Liberia. And since I've been here, I am following up with everything in Liberia. Just as Alexander said, the situation in Monrovia and Liberia in general is nothing to be proud of. The reason being that I am an economist. So I wouldn't just talk because I have something to say or I want to follow the crowd. I should talk because the data actually informs what I'm saying. If you go through the Central Bank of Liberia annual reports or quarterly bulletins, you will see that inflation, exchange rate, and all of that, they are not performing well. I still remember when we were children in Maryland County, Little, everybody was leaving the countryside, going to Monrovia. And as a result of that, we were always writing essay on rural to urban migration, cause and effect. Alexander, you people still writing those essays? They will tell you no.
Not at all.
They will tell you no. The reason why they will tell you no is because, it's nothing attractive in Monrovia again. I just talked to a family member who informed me that Coca-Cola factory is closed down and moving to Sierra Leone. What happens to all of those people who are employed? Who were employed at Coca-Cola factory? Sam Darby is gone. Firestone is laying off. Are we saying that the government has the capacity to absorb all of these people? In terms of foreign direct investment, who is investing in our country? If nobody is investing and everybody is being laid off, companies are closing, then what happens to us? My friend just told me that from Brewerville to town is $500. So you must have $1,000 at least to go to town. Where does it come from? In the midst of burning poverty, in the midst of high unemployment.
For the sake of our audience, can you tell us, I guess, what it may have been before from Brewerville to town? If it's $500 today, what was it before?
I can't say it.
Yeah,
but
okay. I can come in?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Before then, leaving Broadway to go to town used to be like around $120. But now the price has increased up to $500. Looking at coming from as far as Poro, Plongo, before you reach your Douala, you pay close to $150. From Douala to reach your town, you pay another $125. So if you do the tour and fro, you're going to almost like $500.
So you see, Danielle? Sorry.
All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. If you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. Our topic is we are gauging the realities on the ground in Monrovia. Our guest, Mr. Thomas Wreh, who arrived from Liberia some 10 months ago, Mr. Alex Zenda Swen, who is right now in the borough of Nukutown. And we've just been joined by Focus on Liberia Monrovia Bureau Chief, Mr. Randolph Glee, who has just returned 3 months ago from Liberia after lecturing at the University of Liberia. Mr. Glee, welcome to Focus on Liberia.
Oh, thank you so much. And it's a pleasure to be back. And I'm so sorry for joining late. We had little traffic downtown Savannah. So thank you again to be back.
And by the way, Mr. Glee studied social work here at Georgia at the university after completing his bachelor degree from the University of Liberia, where he also served as vice president of the student council representing STUDA. Mr. Glee came, he learned, got his master's degree and returned to Liberia, where he was a lecturer of social work at the University of Liberia and also the AME University. He's back in the States after years at the university and to continue further studies. So he's here with us to give us a true picture of what is obtaining on the ground in Liberia. Back to you, Danielle.
Yes. And Mr. Glee, since you are joining, and you're, I guess, recently from there, can you tell us, I guess, what changes you have seen from since 2018 to date? And did those changes have anything to do with why you have returned to the U.S.?
I believe since I left when I was here and I went back, there are a lot of changes that have been made. And some of those changes are when it comes to the educational standard, when it comes to the living standard, when it comes to prices in the market, the day-to-day prices, and the cost of living actually in the city is getting difficult day by day. And it's something that you probably in the States, when you leaving to go to Walmart, you can like do price analysis and you can find out the price. But that is not the case in Liberia. So it is actually challenging back home in terms of everything. Even those of us that were even working, you could not tell when you're going to get your salary and with the number of people depending on you. So when it comes to changes, I don't know from what aspect, what are the positive or the negative, but there is some things going on that we all need to talk about day by day as a people and as a country.
So, Mr. Glee, were you one of those who were not getting paid as an employee at the University of Liberia?
Let me try to unfold some truth about the university. When I was there, I was on record for flagging the issue of the University of Liberia. You know, for me, I'm a different kind of person. Meaning when I see the facts, I'm going to hail you for doing what is right. When things goes wrong, I'm going to talk about it. When I was there and the president made pronouncement that free tuition, students will not pay tuition, I was one of those that made video and thanking him and celebrated that. But when I saw the reality a few months later as a lecturer at the university, we could not get crayon, we could not get some essential things. When we asked top bureaucrat, they're telling us that, oh, you guys are celebrating this, but now we can't get this money to take care of what we are to take care of. And we were not getting our salary on time. But I'm going to be real to you because I still here and monitor my account. The University of Liberia have been paying for the month of November that have not even ended yet. So that was then when we never had salary. We talk about it, but for now, I think the government is current with the University of Liberia when it comes to salary.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. Great. And so, Mr. Wreh, going back to you, you explained the situation with your job and why you came back to the U.S. or you came to the U.S. The way you explained it, did you feel unsafe at that point when the central bank governor, or you heard that the central bank governor accused you of wanting his job? Did you feel unsafe?
Besides being unsafe, if your professional colleagues are not interacting with you, then it should be of concern. And as I talk to you, at one point in time, I decided to try my colleagues when I came back to the States to say, please give me this information. And they all refused. So if I had stayed in Liberia, apparently it would have been the reason why I would have been declared incompetent. Because if you can't work with your professional colleagues, then there is no need being around them or with them. Now, if the governor does not receive written information, but is telling people misinformation about you, to the point where he even said, I was in Accra doing a second master's. Daniel, I'm not bragging. I went to the University of Ghana, and after I completed, I am the only non-Ghanaian who represented the University of Ghana EPM program outside of Ghana. I traveled to Mozambique for that program. As a result of that program, I have sent 17 Liberians to the University of Ghana. They are in Monrovia. So if you say these negative things about me, you want them to believe it? And when the governor said that, I think on the 6th of December 2018, people came to me and I asked them, do you believe it? Some said, no, we can't believe it, not you. In the midst of all this, the best decision, and after I left, I came to the States. Somebody called me from the central bank, 2 persons. They said the decision you took to leave was the best decision ever. It was the best decision ever. I pride myself on that decision because when I heard the statement, that the claim that I wanted the governor's job, I bought ticket the next day. A colleague of mine took me to Royal Air Maroc, and I came back to the States. Even though I'm here in America, but I continue to follow events in Liberia. Thank you.
Mr. Swen, from the picture you presented earlier, it seems that things are not well. To what extent do you blame the government of Liberia for the way things are going?
Yeah, Mr. Jai, like I stated earlier, if any government in waiting is campaigning on a message, that government, once you have succeeded in campaigning on that message and have the audience going along with you, if you come to power, you got to implement what you told the people. I can blame the government up to 60% of what is happening, even though all of this situation is a recycle situation. If you notice, there is a forum on Facebook called Archie Williams. You know, he's one of the guys that have a lot of issue in the press, reflecting issue in the press, newspaper that always bring in event that is occurring now that happened even before I was not born. So our problem here is we have a recycle problem, and before we address this problem, we have to address our homes. We are not responsible as a country and as a people. That's where I see our problem coming from. But with this government, the problem is 60%. They are liable up to 60%. I can tell you for sure.
And then, and talking about responsibility and who's to blame, Mr. Wreh, as an economist, right? I would like your opinion on this. So many people would say that during Ellen's time, or Ellen was opportune during her time to have the UN peacekeeping forces there and many UN employees there to bring in US dollars, circulate that in the economy, you know, help the businesses by going to the restaurants, helping, you know, apartment owners with rents, helping to boost the economy in that way. Will you say that the WIA-led government had an obstacle, you know, or a challenge in that this money was no longer flowing in the Liberian economy?
Actually, that should be a factor. Actually, that should be a factor. The reason why it should be a factor is we don't produce US dollars. That's not what we have. But if there is a drop in the US dollar component of our money supply, you don't see it, but it is measured through the exchange rate. That's the channel. And it was after UN scaled down that you begin to see the exchange rate increasing or the Liberian dollar depreciating. So it informs us in our analysis we were doing at that time that the departure of UNMIL should be a factor contributing to the deterioration in the exchange rate. That is a factor, Daniel. Yes, a factor. But beyond that, if you look at all the macroeconomic indicators in our country, Madame Salif did her best. I continue to say it. When Madame Salif became president in our country, around 2005, inflation was around growth was 5.3. Inflation was around 11.1. But today, inflation is double digit and in 20s. Exchange rate is in 200. My colleague called me and said, oh, The exchange rate is now in suffer mode. We pray it doesn't reach junior and senior, meaning that it could go 300, it could go 400. The factors informing all this, for me, like Alex said, for him, he attributed 60% to the government. I wouldn't attribute 60%. The government is 100% responsible for everything. Make the situation better. The government has the capacity to do it. When I was at the central bank, the executive mansion requested for production data regularly, and we supplied the data. I talked to a colleague yesterday or some time ago. When was the last time executive mansion requested for production data? He said he doesn't know. He doesn't know. And the reality is that they are now doing their own analysis at the mansion to inform policy. Is it being done haphazardly? What informs the decision you are taking?
Mr. Wreh, I have a question for you here on Facebook from Mr. Dave Jar. And the next question is also probably for you from Mr. Mansfield Duopo. Mr.
Okay,
Dave Jar says, so you left your country because a bank governor said you were trying to take his job. What is your fear?
My fear is that we're all working on documents. And when you work where documents are or money is, anybody could say something about money and implicate you. For example, when we had an issue of the 25 million, some of those whose names were on that list have nothing to do with money, but their names got on the list. So what guarantee do I have that I will be secure like I was there before?
Okay.
Especially when I have this governor. So I had to leave for my professional and physical safety.
Okay. On the economy, Mr. Mansfield Duopo is saying things are not well everywhere because you give the government 100% responsibility. So things are not well everywhere. There is a global downturn. The global economy is shrinking. The Liberian economy have suffered shocks and other negative externalities. Liberia is no exception to what is happening globally. Your response as an economist.
Yeah, Mansfield, what you're saying is true. There is global economic downturn. For us as a country, we export, and it is from export we generate. But export prices are also slumping. But it does not prevent us to go into agriculture, to go into value addition, and be innovative. Qatar does not have land. So they go into IT, Mansfield. What can we take advantage of? Botswana has only diamond. We have the same diamond. All the diamond that goes to Israel, Israel doesn't produce diamond. So where are they getting the diamond from? From the rest of others that produce diamond. Why are we not taking advantage of what we have? Mansfield, if the global market prices are slumping, yes, but it does not prevent us from increasing production or being keen on, for example, diamond production. Botswana has only diamond, Mansfield, and they are doing well. We have diamond. So what prevents us? I suspect it's an issue of policy failure. At every point of the policy implementation process, we should be doing monitoring and evaluation. How far have we gone? How far have we gone? We issue permits to produce diamond.
Let me bring in Mr. Glee on this. Mr. Glee, I don't know what's your general assessment of things, and I don't know, like Mr. Chompin who blamed the government 60% or Mr. Wreh who blamed the government 100%. Where do you stand?
For me, one, I want to look at, I want us to understand that the government is not a creature sitting somewhere that we should look at and say, oh, this is the government, this is the government. But the people that work within the government. Is there any proposal or policy that my fellow colleagues ever proposed with all of the ideas that he now propining on this show that was rejected? That's my question. I believe working in government in Liberia, myself had a tough time at the University of Liberia. The first thing, I came from student leadership, and coming here to get a master in a PhD program. When I went, people felt intimidated. But that did not deter me. You know, one thing I know, running away from fear, fear does not stay somewhere. You have to stand and facing your Goliath. I know sometimes you have to retreat for safety of your life. But for me, I blame both government and those of us living in Liberia. Why did I say so? How many of us paying taxes on our houses like we do in America here? How many of us? How many of us paying taxes? When I start to blame the government, I blame the government bringing in people, because now the global world that we're looking at, Mr. Dennis, I will continue to say this on your show over and over and over again, that this world that we're running is run by faces. If you know me and trust me, when I'm working somewhere, you'll be proud to invest into that country. This is where I blame the government. The government carry most of my brothers who are not connected globally. So the world is now careful how to invest into Liberia. Let's take, for example, when Ellen took over. Ellen brought Guru, the best brain that Liberia have around the world. She brought them. At the end of the day, the world trusted Liberia to invest into Liberia. To invest into Liberia. But now that was not the case. Let's forget about Liberia. Let's come back to Barack Obama. When he took over, he was not focusing on how many Democrats he would bring into government, but he was talking about what? Empowering the private sector. This is where the government should have gone. Like, I agree with my brother now talking about the agriculture and all of the minerals and every other natural resources that we have in our country. Yes, it's about time that we sit and start to invest for a long time. Because like the other brother from Liberia said, our problem is really a recycle problem, because people will give all of the best analysis. At the end of the day, when they get into position, they refuse to implement them. So what am I saying here? I'm saying I blame citizens and the government, because we have all of the best policy that we have. Because if the government were actually following all of the policy and implementing those policies, at the end of the day, we will not have people who just took to a position and they are not even paid 2,000, but they were able to what? Get 80,000 as a loan. How are you going to pay this money in Liberia? So we really not following no policy we got on board. So at the end of the day, for the government to really function, to really reach its peak, it's going to be challenging. We need a kind of radical leader. Somebody that will stand there and say, look, this is what I stand for. You either go for it or you go this way. Because if we start to set deterrent, you will understand that, hey, when your hand is in the cookies jar, you're going to go to jail. You will be afraid to destroy your image, to also destroy the image of your family. At the end of the day, you will follow the rule. But that is not the case in Liberia. And I think if all of us decide to run for the safety of our life, Liberia will not be what it is. People stood up in America here. They put their neck on the bowl. They stood up for the freedom for which all of us leaving our home to come and enjoy today. If we ever stand up to have the kind of Liberia that we envision in our mind, to be an actual and natural place for us to go and rest, we have to take. When I was leaving the first time to go, people said I was making wrong decision. People said it doesn't make sense. Randolph, you came, you were president for your university program. You came, you left the other market. But I believe what I'm now doing in Liberia, it gives me more joy.
Thank you.
That I went 2 years, I was there, giving my service to my country. So I believe that we have to stand up, because I know sometimes you have to take precaution of your life, but we have to stand up for what is right.
Thank you. Back to you, Danielle.
Mr. Swen, back to you. You mentioned earlier about just general safety and walking in the evenings, and they're being concerned about armed robberies and the like. To be fair, even before this government came to power, We saw videos of thieves, who received mob justice. All that points to that those kind of issues were there before. What is the marker to say that now it's worse? Is it really worse, or is it just the same thing that was going on before and now is receiving more attention?
Really, the situation back home is worse than before. I live in a community where we only play football, do some joke evening time. But now the amount of kids that take in marijuana is more than before. And even when I was growing up in Uganda, people who used to take marijuana would normally have behind the house, but now they smoke it in the street, they smoke it in the church, they smoke it everywhere, and they all they say is that's my right. And when they smoke these substances, they go out and rob people because there is no means of survival. Like my big brother Roland said, how many of us paying taxes to government? I'm not employed. How will I pay on tax to government for my house? So if you have 40 or 50% of the young people unemployed, engaging themselves into unwanted activity like smoking, taking a lot of substances, then you find the society become a victim. Trust me, you cannot walk. Yeah, you cannot walk and safety around 6, 7, or 8 o'clock. More especially for Broadway where there's no street light, or even in Uganda when we get 24-hour current, you find out that people is robbed on a daily basis, 7, 8, 9, and when the police come, they go away. And these are things that even scaring away and setting people from going certain places. Like where normally people go and take cool air along the beach side, we get a good beach, coastal land. If you go there even time, they come to you, they take everything from you. Even when market women going for market, normally like going to Douala, Wreh to get cab at 4 p.m., they jump on you by the time. And the safety here is at risk. Even when you go to the store to go get some goods, they may be looking at you. By the time you get in your car to go, they may go after you. We are living in fear. So it's on an increase. The police have done their best. I can say they have done their best, but yet, because of the economic situation, everybody wants to provide for themselves. If you're not providing for the people create their own way of survival.
That's true.
And Mr. Wreh, you have a comment on that?
By my colleague, Mr. Glee, one of the things he mentioned was tax. How many are paying taxes to government? But I also know that there are tax waivers in government. I was in Kenya the other time, and during that discussion, it was revealed that a president for a particular West African country has 75 cars waiver to import. All across government, is he in business? 75 cars to import. But this goes also for our situation. There are many waivers in our system that we should also get rid of. Salaries are being reduced, but waivers remain. Don't keep the waivers. Let the waivers go, because we're also going to generate income from there. We're going to generate some money from there. So let the waivers go. But in addition to all of that, which I'm saying, if you compare Madam Salif and President Weah, like what Glee said is true. She brought the best she could assemble. But today, do we have the best that we can assemble? For me, it is mixed. Some of them are very good, loyal, and committed to the government. But the reason why I blame this government 100% is something has to be done. The policy-making environment is messy. Government straighten the policy-making environment. How do we attract investors? People are living like, I talked to my son's friends. They are all in Africa Coast. They're going to look for work. I just talked to them yesterday. I asked them why. I said, Papa, it's not easy in Liberia. We're going to come back. They're all going to Africa. They all go to Ghana. They all go to Sierra Leone. Our able-bodied men are leaving us. Our talents are also leaving. And we say it is good.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, this is Focus on Liberia. We are discussing Liberia Today, propaganda, facts, or fiction. If you want to join the discussion, the number is posted. Call 605-313-6004. The code is 791403. Back to you, Danielle.
Yes. So my question is, because this panel seems to be a little to one side, so just to be a little more objective, who in Liberia, when I speak to them, would tell me everything is okay? You know, I'm able to provide for my family. Yes, there's inflation, but I'm managing. Who in Liberia can give me that response?
I think if I can take the lead to answer.
Go ahead.
No, I think I get my own answer. If you feeling me, ugly.
I think the only person now who can tell you in Liberia that he can fool everything will be the president. Because for me, when I was in Liberia 3 months ago, I had the guys who do drugs addict we call Zogo. They used to wash my car. And when I used to go to AME, those ghettos around Ken Johnson Road, I used to go there. Most of the time I would talk to them. It's difficult. Things are tough. And like one of the participants said, when you're having a political party, you are government in waiting. Do not wait to win election before you start to structure your government. Now we come and have another generation that will not be prepared for leadership. Because now many people dropping from school, many people leaving. But if we could follow at least where Ellen hooked up to pick up from there, that would have been the best thing. And the next thing that they got to talk about that really pain me, Wreh talk about, drug taking in Liberia is so bad. And that's one of the things that I am paying for on the side to learn to go back to go help. The guys smoke almost everything. Can you imagine? I had a guy that I was talking to. I met him down in Kelly Street. The guy said he don't even smoke any other cigarette again, the marijuana, the days, he don't smoke again. The only thing that can make him real hard at him on boom. Can you imagine? The men have gone now. So like now, decoration there, I don't bother myself to go down, get a street to my father's grave, because if he's smoking all his bone, the boss it, and they took out the bone and smoke it. That's the next generation we're talking about. So they're understanding the mental health, the new discovery of mental health that can become.
Right. But Randolph, with this issue, most of our emphasis seems to be on government. You know, I follow you when you were in Monrovia doing some social work services and taking some of these leads. As people, what are we doing, you know, to help?
Let me just come in. When I got my first project that I took on, because when I went, I lived in GSA Road. When I got GSA Road, every 3 houses that you pass by, there's a cabbage. And the very Zoko will come to you in the day and ask you for money. In the night, they are a different person. So I bought 10 wheelbarrows at the cost of what? $25, $250. Give it to the community people. All of the garbage, instead of wasting it in the very community that we live in, there's a designated site by Painesville City Corporation. Let every houses that put up garbage pay a certain amount, and we pay those very guys to collect it there. At the end of the day, I mean, every week they will have an income. I bought a wheelbarrow. When I gave it to the community told me that I should look for shovel, I should look for gloves, and give it to them before they can start the project. So sometimes you will find, this is where I come to say, we are our own problem. When I back home, I used to visit those orphanages and go there, put students together, we put money together, we back. Because the first thing we need to, first of all, develop the heart of attacking our own problem. In America here, not every activity is done by what? Government. But that is the orientation the people came up with. If you go in a beginning class now, all of the kids will feel satisfied to give. Like one time, you know, most of the time I like to watch YouTube about and how they call it America Got Talent. The other little girl they talk about having the joy. She said, if I win a $1 million, I will go and give it to people who don't have clothes to help them. See, I'm talking about somebody who is 3 years old. That's her mind. But 90 years old man in Liberia now wouldn't be thinking about me and the government should do it. So the first thing we need to develop our mindset that some of the issues right in our community, we can start attacking it from what? The little sin, the little data we have. So I agree with you that we need to step out. And that's why when I went there, what I did, I stepped out along with a team, with students, with friends who believe in me. And at the end, I was able to establish a nonprofit there that now sponsoring 30 children.
Thank you, Mr. Glee. And Mr. Swen, before you answer the question, I want to add one more question to that, which is the same pressure we put on the government in power, we don't put that same pressure on the political parties, so that the system that we want to see in government, we don't even pressure them for that system in their own political party. And I'm talking to you because you are a member of a political party. So on top of the first question, you can answer that too.
Yeah, the first question when you ask it here, because we're laughing. I can tell you, even the president said will tell you that the country is that good. Because like when we go out to the Learning Garden and do some invoice, I am Frederick, one of my big brother. And the Learning Garden like Frederick, everything is slow, nothing is good. Can you imagine a Learning man who we as Liberians say control our economy is complaining about the country, then what more about the ordinary people? So nothing is good in Liberia. Like let's go back to the political parties. There where my frustration comes. We have many political parties who want to take power, but don't act responsible. If I say they don't act responsible, just look at the folk who are already in political party now. You find out that certain group of people will come up with certain ideas to make the collaborating political party go in certain direction. Another group of people will be coming from the other side with different ideas. At the end, you'll see them splitting. Then take the case of Kima. When ANC came out with a nomination followed up by Unity Party, you saw how the election went. Because they are not together. I can tell you for free on the show, any other person listening, the folk who are not together until they can put that time, that ego away and think about Labrador, they will have a better country. But for now, the folk collaborating political party are not together. They are not ready for leadership. Until they can face the house, will be on the problem we created for ourselves, will be on the problem that existed before us, and will be on the problem that will continue to lead us. Our political party in waiting need to put the ego away, come together as one group of people, fight this problem as an institution. Because if you find them not going in accordance, when 2023 come again, we just cry over that, the board regular election. And trust me, since I was born in 1992, I never see a city government lost election in Africa, except for Gula Generator for Nigeria. So if we are, as a political party, in waiting and don't put our apps together, because majority of the people are angry now. So we got to come together, put our ego away, form that structure, inform the Liberian people that we are ready to take responsibility. Then the Liberian people can vote out. But other than that, we'll just be singing a sing song. And one thing I want to mention on the platform, my experience from this going election has created a lot of doubt in my mind that we cannot go anywhere with the voter rule as a country. I'm appealing to the government, to NGO, to donor, if they can create a form that we all can do a new voter registration process. Because with that rule, there are a lot of deficiency, lot of errors, lot of mistakes. And if we continue to use that rule, we'll get the same result we got when Charles Bronski took the country to court. We'll get the same result when Tera Euro took NEG to their own trial court, and will continue to complain.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
Mr. Wreh, you had something to add to that?
Yes. Who is better off in Liberia right now? You know, that question, I will tell you, nobody is better off in Liberia, including all the guys you see with coat suit. I will even begin with the president. He may appear every day in coat suit, but I don't think he's mentally better off than any other person. He carries it just as ordinary Liberians carry it. He carries it just as ordinary Liberians are carrying it because everything rests with him. The unfortunate part about it, and I keep saying, those in government should have a heart for the country, should have a heart for their fellow man. If you don't have a heart for your country, for your neighbor, they gave you office, you will never perform. Because the first thing you do is, like I said earlier, you will hold on to your family, you will hold on to your tribe. It is wrong. And that is part of it. Open yourself up. Let us become some diversity. Bring everybody. Bring everybody. The second thing is with political parties. I tell you right now, political parties are just a failure in our country. A complete failure. And I will say it. The CDC is more organized than any other party since 2005 because they have been consistent with their leadership. They do their strategy. Put on the street, let them see our numbers. Every day we go to our party headquarters. The CDC is consistent. They brought Winston Topman, they changed him because he is not a purpose. He doesn't fall in the strategy. He is not faithful to lead them, but it is George Weah who is faithful. So they brought him in. And there is no conflict about his leadership. But for the opposition, you see Mo Ali, you see Yeke, you see Costa, you see Sandra Johnson. But the big guns, Baka, Commies, Ure, they are sitting there looking at one another. They're looking at one another, but they don't trust one another. So where will this country go? And if they continue that momentum they built after June 7, if they have sustained that momentum, maybe they would have gotten better. They are not planning. The only thing they plan for is demonstration. June 7, December is that they are doing demonstration after every 6 months. So we should expect another demonstration June 2020. Is that how they want to lead us?
Let me bring a caller in the discussion. Caller, your name and let me bring a caller. Caller, your name and where you calling from?
My name is Patrick Soa, and I call you from South Dakota.
Patrick, your question or comment? 1 minute.
First, I want to say how you Randolph Glee.
Hey, Swen, how you doing, man?
I'm okay. Randolph Glee is an educated guy. I worked with him for the past 6-7 years. He's a leader. I can vouch for his character. And I mean, I'm not surprised that he went back home to give back to the people. I'm proud of him. And whatever he has said on our show, I think, like he said to you, he speaks the fight whenever they are making service. That is Randolph. I come you have my salute, I believe in you. But I'm going to respectfully disagree with the caller, the guest from the African Metallist University. And I expected you to ask him what he meant. In his expose, he said the country is in total disarray. I'm not good at English word yet. But to have a country in total disarray, and you didn't ask him what he meant, because this show is not only listened to by Liberians, maybe you could say that's a Liberian English, but you guys, because if you have a country in total disarray, I don't know what he meant, but this is my own point. Okay. There's a difference between people in the country disorganized. There's a difference between ministers, government officials in the country speaking out in its own tone than a country, because a country is a nation that has its own government. And when you say that government or the country is basically from our background of study, you're telling me say they not get no government structure, they don't, everything is broken, has been broken down.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
And that's what I said. We still asking what he meant by that.
Thank you. And we still have time to ask him. Mr. Swen, you said the country is in total disarray. Our caller wants you to expand on that.
Yeah, when I said the country is in total disarray, I mean that all of the anti-graft that were put in place during early time are not functioning, and you have few group of people making decisions unilaterally, and you have us going by that. And just take a look at the GSC and Director General after he advised the government not to go into printing of your money. Look at the Justice Minister after he came out that there is no arrest warrant for Hero Costa. After you have, if you have a structure into place where I can say Focus on Africa having a show every Sunday 6 o'clock, then you will not tell me say after 3 or 4 hours, make sure sell your account. No, we are not having show food, we are having show so and so. And you find out that everything, the structure that are met, that was created by Eddie, you could see how all of the government entities were functioning. Basically, you go to NTA, there is no boss. Says in NTA, yeah. You go to what also the holding la employee who was 6 to 7 months. You go to all of the agencies, all of the anti-graft are not functioning. LACC is not functioning. GSC is not functioning. You have almost like the terror town where you just have assigning town to the go pay 2 times a month. Everything, all of like the situation in our country and in our community now, we have a governor issue where the president king and the governor was removed. And when you follow the constitution or the act that created the borough, it will tell you that governors are appointed by the president from a recommendation for the 16 and the 6 nominated district. But the president came that day and just took off based on his own decision and took off opposition. And now we are into this crisis. So are we having a structure? Because if you're having a structure, then you will start to understand the policy.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can come in.
Mr. Wreh, you want to come in, you said?
Yeah, what Swen said, complete disarray. I think it's an extreme way to say it, sir. It's an extreme way to say it. The reason why I am convinced that it's an extreme way to say it is that we now have a functional democracy. Whether people go to court and they lost or they win, the 3 branches of government are functioning. What happens at other entities should not be seen as the overwhelming situation in the country. What it requires is for government to come in and make those corrections. But at the moment, we have a functional democracy and our system is working, even though it may not be perfect, but it is not in total disarray. That's the contribution I want to make.
Yeah.
Can I?
Okay, Patrick, finish your thought. Yeah, please finish your thought.
And there where I was driving, there where I was just moving. I mean, he meant to say the structure. He meant to say systems are not working. But there's a difference between the system and to say the country is in total disarray, and then you feel like New York City.
We got your point, Patrick. Let's move on.
So now the propaganda. Am I allowed to go?
Yeah, just finish up. Let's move on from the disarray issue.
Yeah, the propaganda and the fact of the way thing about Liberia, hey, that is That is one of the fundamental problems this government is faced with. And I have said this repeatedly. You know, there's one thing in Liberia I'm going to say. Perception in Liberia is as important as reality. Since this government took over, they are always on the defensive. They're not on the offensive. Always on the always. And when you have a government like that, the best thing you need to do is effective communications between the government and the public. Citizens have the right, they got the right to know the policies, activities of their government. In a well-functioning democracy, like the brother said, the government provides reliable and timely information to the people. And this government, that's one of the weaknesses I see. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you. Back to you, Danielle.
Well, I want to move, I guess, more so to current events or events that you all have been present for. And so starting with piggybacking off my last question, I said, who can say that things are okay in Liberia or they're managing? And basically the overwhelming response was basically no one. With that said, we did see during the by-elections, yes, Darius Dillon did win the senatorial election. However, he didn't win by 90%, you know, and also Tilia Uri did not win the representative position she was running for either. I mean, that also tells a story. Does that, I think that says that more than, you know, 1% of the country is okay with the direction of the current government. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I want to take the lead.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right. The first thing you need to understand, you know, during the by-election, I took my time and I was visiting polling places, voting centers, precinct, all over the place, because at the time I never had legal right to vote. So I was just going around and I was talking to people. Let me tell you what's happening now. Low voter turnout or the result of the election should be looked at from a different view. To see that somebody winning 80% or 60% and you feel that maybe the other people are, you know, in favor of the government, no. You need to say that, look, they got people now in Liberia who are suffering from what we call voting fatigue. They are not willing to go to the poll. Even you bring Jesus, they're not willing to go to the poll. Why? Because they have voted with the mind that, oh, I'm voting for Randolph, and I believe when Randolph gets there, he's going to change it. So now they are making general statement, blanket statement. I'm not going to go to the election. I'm not going to go to the poll. Why am I going to even get on this ring to go and vote for this person and they will all be the same? That's the mindset now in Liberia. You call for election, nobody wants to go. And this is where political parties need to rejuvenate their ideas and strategy, how to build back that energy, no rested energy, no potential in those people, how they can stir it up that they will be able to go back to the election. Because nobody willing now to vote in Liberia. Out of their mind. And where we also feel in our political sojourn in Liberia is campaign statement. Like one time my late grandfather was sharing a story with me. He said, a man went in Nema to go run campaign. He told the people, say, I will pay bridge for you. The people said, by the time you won't pay bridge for no water here. He said, oh, I will make water to come here. Meaning, he had no idea, but he was just saying things to, you know, to please the people here to vote for him. What am I saying? People make promises doing campaign, and they know within themselves that they lack the capacity to deliver what they're talking about. People said it, oh, I will do this. And now the mindset of our Liberians or any human being, when you tell them, hey, I'm going to give you this, and you fail to do it, they put you in one blanket. So I believe the political party now, they need to go there. There are a lot of work to be done. Even in the rural area, see the results, see the number of people who voted in this going election in Kitma. Even Maserado, the turnout was very high because the energy came from what? June 7. The energy came from June 7. I mean, how do you call it now? Actually, the energy came, it came from June 7 when they won the election.
In essence, Randolph, what you're saying is there's voter fatigue, there's low turnout. So what does that say about the victory of Mr. DeLong?
Because the energy came from DeLong when people started feeling the pain from in Maserado. Because look, let me just tell you, we all live in Maserado. We know, you know me and I know you. But in a split second to just make you assistant minister and I see you putting out duplexes and doing other stuff, it speaks too much to my mind. So people say, oh, you know, like my comrade said, Patrick Swap, perception in Liberia is as important as the reality. I give you one example. When I was serving the student union, Patrick and I, Mel Jones gave us $7 million to the student union. The next morning, Ruben Balasoko was on the political palaver hall discussing that we finished dividing the money among ourselves. The other men get $2 million, I got $2 million, the other men get $2 million. And he discussed it, and students at the level of the university, the place is packed. Mind you, I just walked from 12th Street and used the Jonathan route to claim sweating. And I was wearing costume. Standing there and the guy discussing me. Then they say, come and get clarity. I said, clarity on what? The man already didn't provide the information. Now I got $2 million. I had $2 million I used to walk to come. So most of the time people provide information without facts. And now knowing even the president of the University of Liberia Student Union is now a signatory to UL account. The fiscal affair, the president, they control. If you give the union money, all we need to do to recruit students to absorb that money. Period. We can't get money from there. But the perception, we divided the money. So people perceive. So at the end of the day, effective communication should be very important. Okay. What's happening? How do you talk to people? What is actually happening in government? So because of that, people perceive that 25 million gone. We heard about 16 billion. The other person paying us, oh, that is money. So at the end of the day, people say, oh no, we gotta run this government out. So at the end of the day, Darryl said it. That I'm not winning because I'm popular. I'm winning because the people are angry.
Okay, let me go to, let's go to Mr. Swen to answer that question. And Mr. Swen, you got some people attacking you here, man. Say, they don't agree with you. In fact, one of our, Mr. Mansfield Duopo is using words that I can't even say, calling it rubbish that you are saying. Defend yourself.
Yeah, you will always say, Mr. Duopo, I think from the United Party angle, if I may be correct. You know, these are the guys that always feel that they have monopoly or idea. Like my process, maybe I went into the highest level, but actually the country is now in a good shape. Let me go back to the question and Daniel asked. You know, during the time of the elections, people went out to vote. They don't because of the current situation we were in then. And for K-Man, people felt reluctant to vote because they are not seeing that way forward, you know. So the voting turnout will always be poor. Because when these guys use the platform to sell themselves, afterward, they don't go back to what they told the people. They do their own things, you know, even sometimes they even make flower the people that even voted them in. So you find out that other people will feel weak about going to vote. So now that you find people in the community begging people, let's go and vote, let's go and vote. If you now vote today, someone will make a decision for you tomorrow. Still, the people can wake up because the first group of people feel them. They feel them, so they feel rejected. They feel lonely, so they don't feel that they have saying in the democratic process. So that is the problem with our voting process now. And like my brother was saying, in Liberia, we have a valuable society where I come in to say, oh, Mr. Wreh got money from so and so place that why he resigned from central bank. Without any background investigation, people will take it. Even print media will take it and put it on the newspaper and spread it around without even doing a background check. So perception is something that is killing us here. Seriously, perception is killing us. And we don't have that time. Come again? And we don't have that. Yeah, we don't have that time to go and ask the hard question about people that are being accused of certain things or being, involved in certain things. We just make a decision based on what we hear others saying, and it's very bad for us as a country.
All right, thank you. And before we continue, I'd just like to remind the audience that today's show is called A Propaganda, Facts, or Fiction. And we have 3 individuals here who will give us their own personal view or perception of how things are currently in Liberia. And I think something we also have to realize is that everyone's perception is their reality. If I feel water over my head or, feel it raining down on me, I'm going to say it's raining. Maybe what I don't know is that someone has a sprinkler over my head, but that's my perception, is that it's raining. So we have 3 different individuals here, 3 different walks of life and sectors in Liberia. We're just here to hear their opinion or their perception. And they are free to give their opinion. Okay. So with that, Mr. Wreh, my next question has to do with this call for printing of new money. Just as an economist, what is your point of view and what are some of your former colleagues saying about this issue?
Thank you, Danielle. You see, the printing of new money is something that economists will not support, especially so when it is printing of new money to put in circulation. You can print the money and put it in circulation, but there must be a condition. We have the Liberian dollar component of our money supply. If we have the Liberian dollar component of our money supply and we are printing new money, are we withdrawing that component and replacing it? Or whilst it is still in circulation, we are printing 34 billion to put it into circulation. If that is the reason, if we don't withdraw, if we don't phase out that which is in circulation before doing the introduction, then I will not support it. But if we are printing the new money to phase out what is in circulation, to replace it, perfect. We have done it before. Many countries have done it before and it worked. But if it is to put it into circulation without any condition, I wouldn't support it. The second thing is this. Why when we want to print money, if we have other issues that are outstanding, which also relate to printing money, let's address some of the issues that, because printing money is also confidence. Does the public has confidence in what we are doing? I said, and I told some colleagues the other day, printing the new money without phasing the old one out will cause serious macroeconomic challenges for us, as we have never seen before. Because I said, Venezuela tried it. When Venezuela printed the new money, they said it was magic. Everything was settled. But just after 2 days, the entire thing went up again. So if we take our cue from what others have done in their own areas, in their own countries, and try to do ours, we must follow what is established in economics. Do not print like our people are saying, print and pay the people so that we put smiles on the faces of people. But government revenue in Liberia is not generated from printing money. We don't generate revenue from printing money. So why we want to print money to put it in circulation to pay people? Daniel, I hold a view strongly that if we print money and put it into circulation, what the old one is there because we want to put smiles on the faces of people. After 2 days, inflation will hit 1,000. Then it becomes an additional problem. If we are not careful, we will appreciate 200 being the exchange rate one day.
So
if we introduce it.
What is your advice?
My advice is that the government of Liberia has many areas to collect taxes. What are we saying that taxes are not being collected? And let me tell you one thing. My colleague from Ghana asked me the other day, so where is the money? Where is the money? No liquidity. Where is the liquidity? Individuals have it at home. If individuals have it at home, what do we do to bring them to bring the money out? One area, another suggestion I will make is that, given the situation, if government succeeds in printing the new money, give some minimum time. Everybody should change their money. Nope. Give some minimum time. Everybody should change their money. That which remains outside is not for us.
No, Mr. Wreh, I was asking you your advice. So you were saying the only way to, if they are printing the money, your advice is to give time to phase the old money out. Is that how you want us to go about this?
Phasing the old money out and introducing the new one is part of the solution. It is not the panacea. It doesn't cure all of our problems. All I am saying is, if we reach a point where we at all costs want to introduce some new money into the economy, that we can do, but there must be some conditions to do it. Don't just do it because you want to do it as a government.
What are some of those conditions?
One, establish what is our total Liberian dollar component in the economy. What is the amount of the Liberian dollar in the economy? It is that amount that we should target. Are we saying that 34 million is the target? I just went through the Central Bank of Liberia annual report. I did not see 34 million. So you see, it is somebody's perception that we want to turn to reality. Somebody just said, let's print 34 million. So we want to print 34 billion rather. But does it tally with our money Liberian dollar component of our money supply? If it does not tally with our Liberian dollar component of our money supply, then no need going into it. Because you're going to have a situation where you're going to have too much money. And what are we producing? We're not producing. The productive sector. It is not in this array like Swen said, but it is not to that level. It is not to that level. So what do? We must target the economy's Liberian dollar component and print what is available, phase it out. But whilst people are holding it, they want to introduce the other one. It scares me. The least, it scares me.
And Mr. Swen, what is your perception of the printing of new money? And what are people saying? What are your neighbors saying? Your friends saying? What's the sentiment on ground about the printing of new money?
Yes, the ordinary people see it as the only way to get money in their pocket. But from an economic standpoint, I will prefer that before printing a new money, we will know the component, like my prof said, the component of the Liberian dollar on the market. If you know that, then you know how much you're going to print, and you know how much you will be taking out of the public. Because if you are printing 34 or 35 billion dollars and you don't know how much is out there, and you know there are a lot of counterfeits within the country after the printing of that new money. So if you cannot differentiate the counterfeit from the real money, and you decide to go and print another 34 billion dollars, you find out there will be no money on the market, and will hit inflation again, like the one we are into now. So I prefer the central bank, like the process. They should know the amount of component of Liberian dollar on the market, then they can proceed. And when they print the money, then they take out the old money on the market. Because if you don't do so, then you'll be having problem in a country. But the ordinary people will tell you that let's print money so we'll be able to get money in our pocket. If you go to the federal bank now, they tell you that we'll send your money, the remittance that people send to the people back when they will tell you that, oh, we'll create a mobile money account. And when they send the money on the mobile money account, you find out that to get it out is a war. Everybody is holding the liberty they have now with them because they are afraid to go out of liberty. And the bank is not providing liberty. So if central bank does not know how much in circulation and they want to print new money, it will cause chaos. They got to know how much is in circulation before they print another money. But the ordinary people will tell you that they want new money because they don't know the economic effect to that of the print of new money.
So, Mr. Swen, we also heard that if I send my little sister $100 in Monrovia,
Yeah.
the bank is they are requiring her to open a bank account and deposit 25% of that money. Is that true?
Yeah, because yes, because they are out of liberty. So they want to hold you in a way. If you say if you refuse, then they ask you for a mobile money account, no more that they can send it to. And to get it out is very difficult. To
And
get
what
it out
is the reaction of the people to that new policy?
You know, they just got to accept that because there's the only way you can have money, you know, with you. You know, in Liberia, not everybody is working. So if you go to the bank and they tell you that this is the way forward, you just got to hold on to it until you can get what you're able to get out of the bank. So now you go, they say you 500, you'll be able to get $200. And they give you, so now you give people, they say come out, so and so stuff. So that the problem we are facing with even people who have that money, that actual transaction with the bank, like businesses, they don't get over $5,000 now for the bank. So you see the kind of problem you're creating. If you have a business and you're saving with this bank, if you want to withdraw now, you don't withdraw over $5,000. That's the problem now. So for the ordinary people, they see printing new money as a way of giving money into their pocket. But for me, I prefer that the central bank know how much in circulation and before they can print a new money.
Dennis, there's something happening that we are not understanding. What is happening right now is that many persons are sending their money to Ghana. They send the US dollars to Ghana. You listen to me. They send the US dollars to Ghana, which is much cheaper. When they send the US dollars to Ghana, they use the cities to buy US dollars. Because when you send your money to Ghana, you're going to get cities. So when they get the cities, they use the cities to buy US dollars, which is much cheaper. Then they go to the airport and give the people to carry their money to Liberia. What it has done for us is it is depriving us also. Rather than the money going to Liberia because of government policy, it has not been diverted to Accra. Thank you.
I think I have an input in this.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the problem of printing new money from an experience with the banking institution and salary and other stuff in Liberia. Even we print 80 billion now, it won't help our situation. But we need to print money. The reason I'm saying this, the first thing first the government need to do is to win the public trust. I got a lot of friends in the banking institution. As early as January this year, the guys told me the kind of withdrawal rate we're seeing, we are of the strongest conviction at a certain time we'll not have a Liberia now. So what's happening now, those little money that was once taken out of the market is what the banking institution have now. So when you go there, like the last transaction I did a few days in Liberia, I requested Access Bank to give, I think 150,000. They said they don't have the money. All they can do, they can convert it into US dollar and put it in my US account, but they don't have that kind of Liberia now. That's a bank speaking, Access Bank, telling me that. In fact, they say they can't give more than 5,000 out. So what is happening to our policy? The banking institution is one of the corporate entities that corporately stealing from the Liberian people. Let me give you a scenario. When I go to the bank to receive money through Western Union or how they call it, MoneyGram, they're going to tell me that they will take up 25% in convert it into Liberian dollar. But because they don't have 50 cents, it's 75 cents. They don't give you that. They're going to tell you, say, central bank say, we can get 75 cents, we can get 50 cents up. But understand, if you have the one banking institution, collecting about 350 cents, the rate now is like, let's take it for the minimum of 200. You're talking about 350 cents times 300. You know how much you're talking about that the bank will be raising in a daytime from people? They do that. So sometimes when you're making policy are made for three reasons. Policy are meant to alleviate problem. They are meant to kill. So if you're making the policy is not alleviating the problem. It's not killing the problem. And it's not preventing the problem. Then why will you make the policy? You said you want the people to have 25% of any other money that come into the country through Liberian dollars. But now you don't have Liberian dollars. You're coercing the people to now go and open an account. I think it's wrong. You already stealing. Just check. Just take your time. They don't get 50 cents, they don't get 75 cents. So the amount of 75 cents it takes from people, even you go to shopping places in Monrovia, they don't give you 10 cents, 15 cents change. But just calculate, if those 10 cents reach to $1,000, you know how much they are taking away from people? But nobody talk about that. Nobody talk about that. Now let's talk about the printing of the money. If I haven't in my account now and seeing the way things going, even the government changed the money today and put it, I got my money in my account. I prefer my money being to my house. Let me tell you the fun. June 7, at the time I was on UL campus. I was now living Fender. June 7, I had some US dollars on Liberia. I wanted to all my money. I think the only money I left in my account was $25 US, and that's the minimum, $25, and I know 1,000 Liberia. I took all the money I carried in my house. So while we joined that, the guys were asking me, they said, "Why you going back in the States?" And I said, "No. Why are you asking me? You won't follow me to the airport?" So I went, I had that money in my house. But then I said, "But why am I keeping all the money in my house and I took and carry back to the bank?" But now many presidents got at the end of the day, they said June 7, we're going to last for 3 months, we're going to be last for days. So at the end of the day, people are not trusting the government. So what's the strategy now to make people to trust the government to put their money back in the bank? Because the money doesn't belong in our bed. It belongs in a bank. So the actual problem, none of the Liberian dollar missing.
We don't have
people's homes.
We don't have
so
much.
All of the economists, all of the policymakers, the government now should now go to a bank book that will draw people's attention to collect those very money from their homes and carry to the bank. Because people believe in one day. In fact, it's happening now. You go to ATM, no money inside. You go in the bank itself, no money inside. Why do you think I would want to keep my money in the bank?
I know.
So that's the first thing the government need to do.
Our time is going down. So let's talk on one more issue, and that's December 30th. Mr. Swen. Are people looking forward to another protest and calling on the president to step down? What's the story there?
Really from what I've been gathering, like the December 30th protest, for me, I don't support that. And I've been discouraging a lot of people not to participate because this government came to a democratic process and they must live through that process. You cannot be questioning your government on integrity issue when you don't have integrity. That's my first disagreement. And secondly, we don't want any civil war. We notice that these uprising can lead to civil war. If we have time, we can retrospect from 2009, the Arab Spring, when it started from Tunisia, it went across, it even entered the Middle East. So I prefer all using the ballot by 2023. And before we use the ballot box, we will come together as a political party in the opposition bloc, put away our egos, and find a perfect collaboration. That's the only way we can succeed this government. But having June 30 protests, I see it as no. From my standpoint, I don't see any reason for the protest again because the first protest didn't yield the actual result that everybody expected, because the plano has some integrity issues, which of course some of them appear on your show, you know that. So I urge all Liberians to remain home on that day and do your normal thing. Let's wait for 2023 and use the ballot box like we did on time.
Yeah, can I come in and speak to that?
Let's Wreh come in before you, Randolph.
Yes, anything we do outside of the constitutional system is just wrong. It's just wrong. But we need to press our government to do better than what it is doing. I will say protest is being driven by harsh economic situation. People are so frustrated. Nobody is doing anything. You have a dollar, it doesn't mean anything. So it is that frustration that is leading people to demonstrate. But the demonstration itself will be wrong if its purpose is to call for the resignation of the president. If it is to call for the resignation of the president, then it is wrong, because it tells you that the opposition is not able to change its government through the ballot box. So they're going to have demonstration. The only thing June 7th did for us was we elected DeLong, because his election was as a result of the June 7th protest. They kept building on that momentum until the election, but they didn't build on it. Let the number of people the opposition hopes to put on the street go to that very people, that very group, and mobilize them until election. Let them express a commitment to you. Let them mobilize people for you. But to go on the street, to demonstrate, to call for the resignation of the government is totally wrong.
Mr. Glee.
I believe we need to follow up with our history. If we follow up with our history, we got some Liberians who are specialized over the years in interim government. They have specialized over the time in interim government. And that's how they have made their life. And they believe the only way they can get funding, they can pay for their mortgages around in America here, is to have interim government. Is the country fine? No. Things on the right trajectory? No. But tell me, if you go now and have protests and say George Wreh should come down here, you put 1 million people in the street again, George Wreh came down. So who's going to take over? Who's going to take over? At the end of the day, you will say you want regime change. Let's carefully look at the June 7th protests. There was an agreement that during the protests, you will have a GOL, Capitol building side, and they will, and the protester will be to the mansion, and the protester will walk with the petition to GOL. But when they saw the crowd, they got crowd drunk. They said GOL should walk with them. The king, thanking a change. All those people you arrested before the protest, you release them. At the end of the day, they missed the target. They went in some kind of little small hut to go give the petition. They would see what they were doing that day with the petition, like somebody in a barber shop. The Lord will sit there and talk. After talking, then Costa will come sit there and talk. Because at barber shop, somebody will sit and leave, and the other person come and sit for them to talk. What am I seeing? I'm not in favor of protests. Protest is not going to help us. In fact, it's going to make things more bad for us in our country. What can we do? Let's constructively engage the government. Let's put them to fire to their feet with policy, with recommendation, and engaging them. But now if we go there, what will happen? And let people not take Liberia situation now as a place where somebody won't pay their mortgage. That after 6 months you pay your way, I go in Liberia for a protest, then they will have GoFundMe and put money in your account. You can't pay your mortgage after 6 months.
I hope you're not Costa you're talking about.
That's not the situation. We got serious problems in Liberia.
We got a serious problem in Liberia. And the problem we have in Liberia, we're looking for brain. We're looking for men. At this time, I expect the 4 political parties to be brainstorming. Let's brainstorm. What can we do? Even though George Wreh has 6 years to go, he hasn't completed 2 years yet. But what can we do in the absence of us taking power? How can we help our people? How can we do something? But everybody sitting in the political process and all they're talking about raise $2,000-$3,000, $20,000 give it to somebody, and the person go and buy an aqua life water, drink it for a few times, and give a report that he used $15,000. I believe that will not help us.
Mr.
We need
Glee.
serious-minded people, and Liberia does not need no protest now.
Mr.
Because the
Glee.
protest won't help. And I can bet everything that I have. The crowd you put on June 7th, you can't put on that crowd June 8th.
Sure. You cannot come up.
It's not possible.
It's not possible at all.
Mr. Glee.
But Mark made a wealth, you collect that money, put it in your pocket, you keep your salary here. So at the end of the day, and now after that, it took 2 months to have confusion on social media among themselves. So you think the people in Liberia crazy?
Mr. Glee. Mr. Glee,
hold
on now. Your man, your friend Saki Golafale is having issue. He said he got 3 questions for you.
Yeah, I will. Let's Saki say a question.
Okay. Saki said, what are you saying? He said because the Constitution has a the Constitution provision says, he said, what's wrong in the Constitution about protest? And also, it is not clear. The parties recommended that what the government should do. They told I think you're playing phone now. He said they told Cummings to go sell coke.
That boy is serious. That man, that chemist, he's serious. He think I'm messing thing up here. He's serious. He think I'm messing thing up here.
Let me. Mr. Glee, I mean, father self-nation, pride, dignity.
Oh no! But I know his past. I mean, I know about Gulufari, the man, my boy, the man, myself moved together. But I'm seeing he playing for India. What you see is coming to
No. The man said you playing for. Let me go to Danielle and see if you have final question. But before we go there, we want, anytime we do the show, after the show, we are on YouTube. So we want all of you here and those watching us to please go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button that you see there, circle. And after that, there's a bell. Hit the bell too, so that anytime we put a show, we put a video on YouTube, then you get notified. So please subscribe to our YouTube. Back to you, Danielle.
Yes, well, basically we're near the end here, and so I would like final comments and thoughts on the state of Liberia from everyone here on the panel. I'll start with you, Mr. Wreh. What is your final comment tonight regarding the current state of Liberia and whether what we hear on radio stations or on Facebook posts, social media posts, whether it's true that things are really hard in Liberia, or yes, things are difficult, but it's not as bad as people are portraying? What are your final comments on that?
Thank you, Danielle. What I know is that in Liberia, at the moment, reality, perception is equal to reality. All the things we heard in the grapevine are now reality. Somebody told me 3 weeks ago what was going to happen. It has happened. Everything is coming out. So perception appears to be the reality in Liberia. Outside of that, I will think that the government is throwing these things out to see the response of the public and maybe change it. But nothing is changing. Put the information out, the public responds or the public does not respond to it, and nothing is changing. On the issue of the protest, on the issue of the economy, first, I said I hold the government 100%, and I still hold the government because the government has a responsibility to ensure the enabling environment is available for all of us, businesses, individuals, and households. What I mean, if that is not available, then you can't go, then it's wrong. Government should have a moral responsibility to us that what they took the oath for on the June 7th, on the December, the pending protest. The only thing that protest is going to do for our country is to worsen our country. Opposition keeps saying nobody's investing. From your action too, you keep scaring people out of the country. We should be able to dialogue. We have eminent people in that country. Eminent people who can organize us to hold discussion. Communist Wizard just put Ellen and Joe together. There are other eminent Liberians who can put the government and the opposition together so that something concrete comes out of it. We should go the path of dialogue rather than demonstration and confrontation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mr. Swen, what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, thank you for the invite once more. Yeah, the protest, like I stated, is not necessary now, and all we gotta do is just to hold the government down. And the full collaborating political parties, let me be bold to whoever is watching from them. Let me say I'm speaking rubbish, that's his opinion. But the reality here is that they are disorganized. We are disorganized as an opposition in waiting. If we are organized, then you will know that the government will come to themselves and do everything right. It's because we are disorganized, that's why the government is still proceeding the way they are. If we have our leadership into place now, that will be able to control the pending senatorial election, and we know who is leading that body, then you know that we are serious for business as an opposition. But up to now, we don't have that leadership into place. So that shows our view of not organized. And next, things in Liberia is worsening on a daily basis, and you know that every day people go to bed hungry. It's not because they're not able to look for food, it's because they are not able to find where they have been looking for it. And even those that are working are complaining of not getting the money they used to get before. And you know, once the head does not receive, the bottom will not get the click of the goal. So everything is just that way. And before I leave the platform, let me tell the world that we are in a situation where we all need to put our hands together and do something. We're just lacking innovation. That's the actual word, we are lacking innovation. There have been a lot of policy persuasion on the board. The implementation is very poor. The M&E is very poor, and we are not creative in thinking and writing. Like the Mr. Glass said, the generation to come will have less people who have interest into education and technology because we are not into that fee anymore. We found out that everybody is dropping from school. The enrollment at the university is poor. At the secondary status is poor. Even the primary, found kids running all in the community because their parents don't have that money to put them into school. So that's the problem we are seeing. And if we don't have them into school, the illiteracy rate will also increase like the one we are facing now. So before I conclude, let me advise everyone not to go on the street December 30th. The only thing we can do then is to ask our political leader if we are in the opposition, where are we and what are we waiting for to take the lead? That's a hard question we should be asking our political leader. They need to step out that game and make things good for the betterment of this country. If they are not able to do it, let us know that ourselves can take the lead as a citizen. Thank you for the time once more.
Thank you, Mr. Swen. Mr. Glee, we'll end with you. What are your final comments tonight?
Mr. Glee.
All right. Let me
Mr.
first
Glee?
of all say thanks to
Mr.
all of
Glee.
the participants and the
Mr. Glee, you can
hosts.
listen to me, Mr. Glee.
And
Before
let
you
me
come
say thanks to all of you guys for the time.
Mr. Glee, Mr. Glee, Mr. Glee.
Mr. Glee?
Yeah.
Okay,
Dennis calling
please.
you.
Yeah, I said just 1 minute before you come in because I have to redeem myself with Mr. Saki Golafale. He said I didn't read his question properly. So one thing he said is there is no constitutional provision that forbids protest and a call for your leader to step down. He says it's not in the Constitution, so you guys should go read.
No,
Saki,
yeah,
I think we never told you that it was unconstitutional for you to go protest, but we see that it won't help the process. It's not going to help the process.
It's not going
There
to
are a lot
happen
of
either.
revolution we took onto in Liberia without being prepared. Let's take, for example, the quote-unquote 1980 coup. You killed Toba without being prepared for leadership. You killed the fathers, then you took the sons and put them into leadership. We got a crisis today. It has not ended. So what we're talking about, political institutions that have amalgamated forces together, what you need to do, strategize, do more planning. Because when you go, you take out George Weah today, what are you going to do? If George Weah, you go, you say George Weah to step down. So what's going to happen? You're going to have Joa going there. When Joa says she's going there, you tell the speaker to go there, you say you're not going there. So at the end of the day, check all of the interim government were all problem for all. Dr. Emo Claudius Sawyer, he printed money up to now. We never knew the total of money he printed on an interim arrangement. Judy Bryant, Ruth Perry, all of the interim leadership, no account, because when they assign a political institution to finance, they're going to run their own life there and not to the Liberian people. So some of us, we are saying, no, go to the ballot box. That's what we're saying. And that's my view, Saki. I'm not going to support you. Now you're sitting here. You're having fun time, Saki. But check whom and know what going. And you can receive call every day from people there. So when you go and protest today, meaning it will be over. What happens if you tell George we have to leave and you put another government there and you have another 1 million people going into the street to protest so that government will move? So is that how we're going to run the country? No.
Your final thoughts?
I say no. So let me give my final closing comments, Aki. When anything you get my line, call me, we'll talk. Let me close with this. Liberia is all that we have. With all of our differences, we need to be careful what we post on Facebook, what we post on print and electronic media. Ellen took millions of dollars just to clean our image. But now we're going back to the same place. I got a friend in Savannah who wanted to go do business in Liberia. So when he and I talk about it in class, and he said, oh yes, you know, I have friends who went there before, they did some insurance company and they're doing well. 2 days later, he came back to me, he said, I don't think the country is safe with a lot of information I see on social media. He did not even went deep into any research. He just went into a different Liberian grouping and he saw their information. And he started telling me things. So this country is all that we have. You just we have today. If you say all of the negative thing about the country, it's not just about Georgia, it's also about the country. I'm not supporting the government, no. But all we have is the country. And most of us professionals that find ourselves here, we need to make some time to go back home and help. We need to go back home and help.
That's a serious issue.
So just sitting here and talking about the problem, who help? Who you think will show them? You think when I left, I went and I took 3 months to be riding commercial buses, taxis, and other things before I could get my own car? Was it easy? You think I was feeling comfortable?
Start showing off because you went and we didn't go now.
No, Mr. Jai, you need to come. You need to come.
So at the end of the day, I want us to go there.
Other conversation.
The governor of Liberia, you also need to step up your game. You need to reach the place to look for the best brain. Under no condition, my house will be leaking, then I go bring computer man. What a computer man will do with the city?
It will run somewhere.
So at the end of the day, you need to go back. If some of our friends who campaign, who said they are man that are way to, when there's a need for them to go back to school, encourage them and let them go back to school and let have the best brain back in the country and let Liberia take her rightful place. When I started reading information about Liberia, that the late Onye Eastman horse was the horse in Congo town there that and how they call him, the freedom fighter from South Africa came and he lived in our house, and I know the house. We got rich history. Nelson Mandela, he lived in Onye Eastman house when he came.
when we're talking, we got rich history. Let us not allow self-pride to destroy our country. So the government go back, reshuffle, bring back our best brain, listening to opposition. Opposition, be focused and direct and know what you want. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you, Mr. Glee.
1 second, Daniel. Someone called you that you were speaking rubbish, but not everybody agrees with that. Angelique Rose Doe say this kid is somehow good. So talking about you, Mr. Swen?
Yeah. Like I said, I think March from the Unity Party, and
I think
seriously,
I think it's.
I bet. I think he's from the Unity Party, and I've been following a comment along with some of my friends that we all are friends on Facebook. The problem here is they don't like for people to tell them the hard truth. And the hard truth here is we are not organized as an opposition political party. Like the process, you go every day to CDC headquarters, you find people there. That's why the hard situation, that's why the challenges, they're there, they're supporting the party. They have a one goal and they stand by it. They have a saying in CDC called party mandate, and it goes by it. One more about they are just about TV, we are full, and all our we need to join. Why can we put away our ego and have a better Liberia tomorrow? And in the opposition, you have a lot of technocrats. Our opportunity to say to some of them, you have a lot of technocrats. But the ego, Mr. Jai, if they can take away that ego, but let me give you a story before I leave. NKT begin Tuba were your late father share a story with Tuba and myself because Tuba and myself were close them before we moved to America. He said because people had that ego of and now want to associate yourself with somebody who is not the kind of American. That what causing not to be the vice president of Liberia today. Because he said Eddie was corrupt, Eddie was there, Eddie was that, he couldn't go with Eddie then. And Eddie got to choose Joe Baka. Sometimes we got to put away our ego because we are needed on the platform to give our best. I cannot agree with everything the opposition said, no, not because I win the opposition. But once they come to issues that will move the country, we always agree. So we got to put away our ego and do everything for Liberia. I have a feature, and when the government try to leave, like the minister will leave for 24 years, because they don't see no seriousness in us as an opposition. If they are only waiting for 24 years, I'm too young to be waiting for 24 years. I want to leave tomorrow. So we got to put our hustle together as opposition and have one saying, then we can lead the country. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Swen. Dennis, back to you.
All right, we want to thank you, gentlemen. I know Randolph is having some connection issue, but thank you so much for the time. This is part 1 of our series on Liberia Today, Propaganda, Facts, or Fiction. So what we've been hearing from what all of you have said concerning what we have been hearing on social media, it looked like most of it is facts. Yes or no?
Yes, it's a fact. It's a selective fact that we all trying to let the world know that this is what's happening in our country rather. Even though there is other thing going on that we didn't mention here, some of the gains by the president, but the affected one are more than the gains, so we got to highlight the affected one. I can tell you for sure he makes some games then, but you cannot get a minus, high number, then you get a plus, no. The minus is more than the plus. So that's why we came here to let everyone know that we are not as good as people think we are. We are struggling on a daily basis. And you get to know that people go to bed hungry here, Mr. Jah. Hungry. Family don't have a meal. You have more than 4-5 persons waiting for somebody to come from the port to bring home food. Man will go to the port, made $250 and can't feed more than 5 persons. It's very disheartening. that's the situation we're in. It's not very good for us as a country.
I want to thank you. We'll continue next week with new guests on the same issue. So we continue to get different points of view on what our country is. So we're going to continue with that. Tomorrow, we're going to have a special edition. As you may have heard, there is I think, Mr. Sekou Sharif of Roots FM. Is a pool declares
no Freedom FM.
No, Freedom FM. The Press Union of Liberia declares Freedom FM and Roots FM destructive tools against the security of the state. So that issue has gone on, and right now what we heard is the Press Union of Liberia has told the Justice Ministry to arrest Mr. Sekou Sharif. Is that true, Champion?
No, I just getting the information. I'll do my research tomorrow, and I support that, you know.
According to him, Sharif, the news we heard that right now is in hiding, but because he's feared that he will be arrested because he have gone against the Press Union of Liberia. So according to him, the Press Union that's supposed to be protecting journalists is now offering journalists to the state security apparatus has a burnt offering. So tomorrow at 9 o'clock, we're going to have Mr. Sekou Sharif on.
But he's hiding. He's hiding.
Yes, we have people that relay this information to us that he will be joining Focus on Liberia tomorrow from an undisclosed location to tell us what's going on with him, where he is. Not where he is, but what's happening between him and the PUL, and why they didn't want him arrested. You were saying something, Mr. Wreh?
Yeah, no, what I was saying is PUL, they have their internal grievance committee. They leave their internal grievance committee, they're calling on the government to arrest a colleague. Why, if it is extreme, why not go to court? PUL cannot tell the government to arrest somebody. Let them go to court. There's the same thing we are saying. There's everything we are talking about. People arbitrarily using power to undermine other people. They should stop it. Go to court if you feel hurt. That's what we can say to you.
The PUSA is in some conflict now. They could put injection on the election, but they went on and have the election they going to. So you see, that is kind of society we are in. The watchdog lack integrity.
All right. So tomorrow at 9 o'clock we'll have Mr. Sekou on to tell us.
Mr. Wreh, I will hit you on
your
messenger.
I'm expecting it.
Yeah. Thank you, bro, for the time.
Thank you too, son. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I'm very proud of you. I like you. Your performance. I like you. Keep it up.
Thank you, sir.
And we like all of you. We want to say thank you for all those watching. Mr. Saki Golafale wants to be next on the show.
When Saki comes, Glee will throw questions, I know.
Yeah. Sure. Mr. Dave just said the system is wrong. Opposition winning would not change anything. We have a corrupt hegemony in place in Liberia. And so far and so forth. But we want to thank all of you for the time. We want to thank those who are watching on Facebook, those who contributed questions, those who call in. Want to say thank you so much. We are so happy. Again, Liberia is the only country we have. So let us do everything to keep it safe.
Embrace one another. Liberia. We are one people. Liberia.
Reconciliation is the only answer. We should all learn to work together. It doesn't matter whether you are global or you are Man, Dan, Mandingo, whatever you are, or you are Miracle Liberian, you are indigenous. The common denominator is Liberia. And we've been here for long now. We want to go home, even though Mr. Glee said we stuck here. But let's do everything possible so that we can all enjoy the country that we want.
Amen.
Well, thank you all again.
Mr. Ja, when you coming, Liberia, we need to go stand together.